Have you ever noticed how your best ideas don't come while you're staring at the laptop? They often come during walks or when you're outside catching some fresh air. And there's a reason for that. Science shows that just 2 hours in nature per week can transform not just your health, but your leadership capacity, ranging from sharper decision making, better stress management. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use nature as your secret weapon for sustained peak performance. I'm Julian Hayes, the second founder of Executive Health, and I work with leaders who want to perform at their absolute best. And I was thinking, it's funny how we'll spend thousands of dollars on leadership seminars and other types of programs. But one of our most powerful tools that can elevate various categories of our health and our executive performance, it's absolutely free. And it's something we overlook, something we take for granted. And that's nature. Now, I'm far from an outdoorsy dude. I am probably more of a city boy. But over the last few years, I found myself craving now, but getting outside more and more, whether that's running on a trail or even doing a ruck and a recovery like hike on a trail as well. And I have to admit, and I mentioned that I'm craving it more, but I started to notice a lot of positive benefits, a lot of small intangibles in my life. And research has backed this up. It's actually been telling this all along that nature is powerful. It's not just a nice to have. It's something that is essential for our well-being. And there's three big reasons in this video here why it's applicable to your leadership and your executive performance. There's a whole host of benefits, but there's three big ones that I'm going to share that I think cross the chasm of leadership in the professional world while also talking about our health and longevity. And that's what we're about here. So pillar number one is stress management and mental clarity. And I found a shocking stat in researching for this episode. 75% of leaders report that stress significantly impacts their performance. But here's the thing that's interesting. Research also shows that just 20 minutes in nature can drop your stress hormone levels by 20 to 30%. So I'm going to paint a picture here. Imagine there's a CEO facing a major acquisition decision. The data's there, the numbers are making sense, but something doesn't feel right. Instead of forcing the decision in that moment, in that conference room, she's going to take 30 minutes to walk to a nearby park. By the time she returns, her mind is clear, her intuition is sharp, and she spots a critical factor that everyone missed. Now, this isn't just a story, it's backed by science as well. Natural environments activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest mode, while also reducing activity in areas of your brain that's linked to anxiety and overthinking. So, an action tip here, or a takeaway here for this pillar, is next time you are facing a stressful decision, step outside for 20 minutes, step away from the problem of whatever is giving you issues in that moment or whatever you're having a hard time coming up with a solution for. It can be a tough call, a presentation, coding, whatever it is. Take 20 minutes, step outside, get some air, find some trees, a park bench, anything green around you, right? And if you can, don't bring your phone. It's a distraction. And just observe and just breathe. And you will be amazed at how different your perspective is going to be afterward, just by taking this brief intermission and coming back with a fresh pair of eyes. The second pillar here is creative problem solving and innovation. And people like Steve Jobs insisted on walking meetings. Richard Branson does his best thinking on his private island. And the reason why is nature literally rewires our brains for creativity. Studies show that a 50% improvement in creative problem solving after time outdoors. And so think about this scenario here. I'll paint one. We have a tech founder stuck trying to find a critical user experience problem. And weeks of frustrating indoor meetings, he implemented outdoor brainstorming sessions. And during one of those sessions, the funny thing is, he was just watching people naturally gather, naturally interact in the park, and his team ended up finding a solution from that. And it was right in front of them in the way that people out there naturally moved and connected in open spaces. So the action step here that I want you to think about is choose one strategic challenge each week, something that's giving you a problem right now, something that's a pain in the butt right now, and it's really bugging you. And take it to a green space. And this time, bring a notebook so you can jot some ideas down. And if you have to take your phone, at least put it on airplane mode where you can't get distracted with notifications. And maybe you just want to use your app for the notes part. Spend 30 minutes walking and just thinking. And this combination of movement and nature creates the perfect environment for breakthrough ideas. And so pillar number 3, of course, has to be physical and mental resilience, because ultimately, this is what optimal health is about. Optimal health is about really resilience. That's kind of how I think about it. How quick can I bounce up if I get knocked down? If I get sick, how quick can I recover? What can I endure? How can I build my stamina and those things up? That's a big part of health for me. So when we're thinking about longevity, though, as leaders, we need energy. We need sustained energy, I should say. We need to be mentally sharp. We need to have great acuity. And a couple stats on nature that I found was that regular nature exposure improves your immune system for up to 30 days, improves heart health, and lowers blood pressure. It improves your memory and attention span. And it also reduces inflammation throughout your body. And so you put all these things together, nature is also a very good recovery tool for those of us who really like to go hard at the gym or go hard on the trails and the pavement as we're running. Getting out in nature and just walking is doing some great active recovery for us. And there's one key number to remember. I mentioned this at the beginning. I want to mention it again because this has been studied, and it's 120 minutes. That's it, 120 minutes. That's the minimum weekly dose of nature needed for optimal benefits. Maybe this sounds like a lot. And you're like, Julian, I don't have 120 minutes to spare. My schedule is tightly packed. And you can break that down into 3 40-minute sessions. You can even have it as 6 20-minute breaks throughout your week. You can even set it as, this is what we do after dinner. Me and the family, we'll go do a 20-minute walk. There's so many different options that you can do with this. So your action step, your challenge in this pillar here is I want you to stack your habits, because a lot of times people will come to me and the first issue, the first chokehold, roadblock, obstacle, whatever you want to call it, they're going to say, I am short on time. I am heavily time constrained. And so I want you to stack these habits. Take your morning coffee outside. Do your team one-on-ones while walking. Go for a walking meeting. Go for a hike or a ruck on the weekend once a week. Small shifts, massive impact. That's what I think about nature. Now, as leaders, we know what gets measured, what gets measured gets managed. And this is why I love to gamify things when possible. I guess I'm a big nerd at heart. And I've actually been gamifying my nature exposure for a while now using a tool called Nature Dose. And this is think of this like the Fitbit for nature exposure. And so a while back, I think well over a year now, I interviewed the individual behind this app, and Jared Hanley, CEO, founder of Nature Quant. I interviewed him, and I will share that conversation below. We went into all things nature along with the app and everything. And what fascinates me the most about this is that it's interesting how they quantify the quality of your nature exposure, not just the time spent outdoors. And so the app is backed by over 300 studies, helps you optimize your nature time for maximum benefit, and I believe it's still free. So definitely check that out. And if you do use that, Start with a baseline week. Track your current nature exposure, and then aim to increase it by 20% each week until you hit that 120 mark. Now, I'm going to tell you, I think you should do more than 120 minutes, but let's at least work up to 120 minutes, and then we'll discuss and go from there. And so nature isn't just another wellness trend or anything like that. Definitely not. It's a fundamental tool. I would probably start to argue that it should be one of the main pillars when we talk about, you always talk about the pillars of health: sleep, nutrition, movement, exercise. I think maybe the fourth one we should add should be nature. I think it's that powerful. I think it would do so good and benefit our lives in so many different ways. And we can do so many things while we are exposed in nature. So it's a fundamental tool. It's going to help shape how we think, how we create, how we lead, and dare I say, how we love as well, because I think it would improve our relationships as well. And the research is clear. It's continually growing. The benefits are proven. It's continually being discovered, more and more of these. And the best part is, once again, it's accessible to everyone. And for most of us, excuse me, it's around us quite easily to get to. So this weekend, I should say, start small and take one meeting outside, or spend 15 minutes in your local park. Go for a hike, go for a ruck. Watch what happens to your energy over time, your creativity, your decision-making, your mood. And I can pretty much guarantee you're going to notice a difference. And so if you found this video valuable, hit the subscribe button, share this with a leader who could benefit and needs to hear this. Drop a comment below and let me know what's your favorite way to incorporate nature into your everyday life. And so remember, health is your ultimate competitive advantage. I'll see you in the next video.